Hello everyone and welcome back to another painting critique video. In this one I'm showcasing watercolor paintings created by my attendees of my recent workshop where we painted this beautiful scene in Tarragona. More on that in a minute. In this video I'll offer constructive feedback on each submitted painting, highlighting the strengths and aspects I particularly admire. I'll also suggest some small adjustments or tweaks, improvements that you could consider to further enhance your skills. And please bear in mind that these are just my own comments, they're my own opinions. Now, as we see the attendees' paintings, please bear in mind that the colours and lighting in the photos may vary slightly due to differences in everyone's different cameras and mobile devices and lighting conditions. And also remember, there's no single right way to paint. It's always interesting, it's always fascinating to see everyone's kind of unique interpretation of the same subject. So some people do follow me 100%, others sort of do their own thing, and I'd encourage people to really find their own style. Now these workshops are welcome to artists of all skill levels, both beginners and experienced painters, and you will see a wide range of different painting skills on this critique video. And if you're interested in joining future workshops or exploring past sessions, they're still available to replay. Please visit my events site at crowdcast.io/@TimWilmot. There you're going to find details of up and coming workshops, including the next session. First of all, our source photo. The focus of the workshop was painting figures in a sunny street scene. Also, it was an exercise in perspective. We are looking downhill. The road goes down and then it hits this building in front of us, turns right, then it turns left, does a sort of dog leg around. We've got the perspective of the buildings on the left, a little bit of perspective of the buildings facing us, the buildings on the right-hand side as well, and then the feeling of the lines, those lines in the street pavement, those slabs there that can help with the perspective and the feeling of going downhill. Also trying to capture the light as well, being a sunny scene, the shadows, shadow colours, shapes of those shadows as well. As I go through the attendee paintings then, I'm going to look for good composition, a nice balance with the composition, because we can, with these figures, we can often move them around to suit the composition to get a better balance. And there are some elements that we may include, other things that we would move around and exclude from the composition. We also want to look at drawing and painting the figures. That's a key element to the whole workshop. And I find that beginners often shy away from including figures, particularly in a street scene. And they can, if you think about it, they can actually provide a lot more interest to a street scene. They could provide some idea of the scale of the scene. They could provide a focal point as well. For example, look at the light on these two figures, the shoulders and the heads there. That could be a little bit of a focal point. Also, we'll look at values, trying to push the contrast of light versus dark. For example, going back to the parasol there, the contrast of the light and dark in that area, and the all-important edges as well, hard edges and soft edges. So parasol there, that's going to be a hard edge, but the shadow here in the middle of the street, that's a bit of a soft edge. First of all, my painting, I was fairly happy with the result. I think the composition is good. You'll notice I excluded the left-hand figure. I thought it was just too much of a dominant object there on the left-hand side. I went with 3 figures on the left, the all-important 2 figures walking up the street. Some distant figures suggested there, walking up again a little bit further back in the background, and then over to the right as well. Got the parasol in there, hopefully captured the warmth of the buildings in the background, and just a suggestion of the complicated windows and little balconies and doorways there on that building, keeping things fairly simple and dark in the alleyway there as it goes round to the right. These all-important shadows angling down as well, trying to capture the angle of that light. And the figures themselves, I think they came out okay, particularly happy with the 2 figures in the middle to try and hopefully suggest that they are walking uphill and walking slightly towards us. The figures on the left, they might be a little bit static. Maybe I could have got a bit more movement in those, but they, scale-wise, they're about right. Edges, I could have gone a little bit softer with the edges of the shadows here at the bottom where my cursor is. That is obviously a shadow, quite some distance from the object that's creating it. So I could have gone a little bit softer with that edge there. Right, let's go through the attendee pages then, one by one. First up then, Alla. Composition is very good. I think you follow me pretty much with the omission of that dominant figure on the left. The perspective is very good indeed. Maybe, yes, you're sloping down. You're sloping down there just like I did. Maybe we could have got a little bit more level than that. But other than that, perspective very good with the lines in the street as well. The figures are excellent. Let's just zoom into those figures. I like this red guy. Looks like he's got his hands behind his back, sort of striding down the street. Well done with the legs. Legs are always difficult with figures, aren't they? The 2 figures in the background, they're good as well. Just be careful maybe with a little bit of light there. I would have, with the building, the shade on that building, you come down to the car shadow, just try and make it all kind of gel together, and then maybe could have gone a little bit darker there with the shadows. Very good edges. Just be careful with the like a shadow on top of a shadow there, where you've got a couple of layers, and nice bit of softness there. Yeah, beautiful painting. Well done, Alla. Andrew. Nice composition. Very warm painting with those, with the yellows and the reds there, Andrew. Perspective is all right. The lines in the street, maybe in the distance, they could go just a little bit narrower towards that background building there, just a little bit. The lines here also very good indeed. Figures. Now, the 2 guys walking up the street, they look all right. That yellow figure there maybe stands out just a little bit too much, the bright yellow. With your head, just go a little bit smaller on a couple of them. Well, particularly this guy in the middle. I think the head's just a tiny bit too large there. Could have gone lighter with the street, and again with the shadow. Just be careful of shadow on top of a shadow. Yeah, you do get a little bit of a softer darkness within the shadow, but that's too hard an edge there, I think. Try and do it all in one. That complete left-hand side there, do it all in one. Nice edges as well. Oh, you've got in those 2 dark slabs of darker material that's right in the middle of the street. Nice observation. Yeah, well done, Andrew. And Alla. A nice, clean, bold watercolor. Good composition. Perspective is on the buildings are all right. Maybe could have gone a little bit steeper up the top here. The lines in the street actually on the pavement, they look good there, but maybe here we could go a little bit narrower with some of those lines just to help the perspective. Beautiful colour though in the street, lovely colour. Figures are very good indeed. The head's just a little bit too small on the left-hand ones. They could be just a little bit bigger there. But I like the pose of those figures, particularly these two guys come up here. They got a real good sense of movement. And the guy on the left there, he looks like he's having a dance, but it's a fantastic movement that you've been able to get into those two figures. They are really good. Well done, Anna. And Anthony. Now, this photo, I bet this photo, the colours would be a little bit more saturated in Andrew's real painting. Composition then, good. Just be careful of that figure on the left there. The left-hand side of the figure is right in line with the edge of the building. Either have them a little bit, I would say have them a little bit separate or one overlapping the other, so to speak. I think that would look a little bit better. Perspective is good. Nice lines on the street. Yeah, perspective is good. We might have a little bit of a lean of that building, but other than that, very good. Figures. Figures are excellent. These guys on the right, they're sort of okay. Not sure about the legs on the left. Maybe the legs could be a bit longer. Yeah, just a little bit longer with the legs, I reckon. But the proportions of the bodies to the heads, they're good. This guy here could be the head just a little bit larger. Shadows now. Try left-hand side, try and make the shadows, do them all in one, just kind of connect them, and for continuity, yeah, just try and connect them rather than that lighter shadow. We've got two sort of values of shadow there. Try and do them a similar value. Like the edge though there, very good. Dry brush marks also there. Yeah, excellent. Well done, Anthony. And Bob. Nice composition. Good light coming in. Perspective is good. Maybe the street at the back might be just a little bit too steep. This guy might be struggling. This guy might be struggling to climb up the hill. Likewise, this lady turning the corner here. Yeah, maybe just a little bit too steep. But other than that, it's all right. You've got the feeling of going downhill there, and down the rest of the perspective, excellent on the street. Figures. Right, those figures are very good. The three on the left, their legs, these two guys walking up the street. Maybe this left-hand guy, the left leg could be just a little bit longer. Looks like he's stretching back quite some distance. I reckon if it went down to kind of about there, Bob, that might be just a little bit better on that one. But those two figures are very good. I like the right-hand one. Excellent. Shadows. Yep, very good shadows, good value. Maybe could have gone a touch darker, but they're good shadows. Yeah, lovely colour of that building on the right. I like the way that you've captured the kind of yellowish border to the building and around that arch, and the warmer colour in the middle. Yeah, well done, Bob. Nice painting. And Ben. Right, is this a little bit of a liner wash? Very nice indeed. I like you've got in a lot of detail in this, Ben. All the kind of flags hanging outside the balconies. I know you pick me up on, you question me on can I include this, can I include that? when I go through the demo. I like that bit of feedback, just to bit of sanity check. You know, should I include that level of detail? But you've certainly gone in a lot more detail than me. Those three lights there, the Catalonian flags draped over the balconies, this power line here. Perspective is good. With the lines on the street, maybe could have continued that line into the shadows just for continuity, but perspective is very good. Could have gone a bit steeper on the left there. Figures, right, figures. Nice figures. 3 on the left, excellent. Well, all those 3, brilliant. I especially like the guy on the right with the sort of almost like bit of backlighting on the clothing. Very warm clothing, nice light hitting the shoulders. These 2 guys walking up the street, yeah, they're all right. With the figures, against a darker background, just be careful of that light there between the legs, between the figures. I would sort of continue the light, continue the darkness over, and so that we wouldn't have that light gap there. So continue, almost like continuing this shadow over. So all of this would be in the shade. And then you maybe go a little bit darker with the legs so they stand out against the shadows. Nice range of edges as well. Could have gone a bit softer there. Excellent. Well done, Ben. Nice level of detail in that one. Right, Betty. I think Betty's painting will be a little bit brighter than this. So excuse me, everyone. Composition is very good. You've pretty much followed me. Perspective, excellent. Maybe with some of the lines in the street could have gone a little bit narrower into the distance, but on the whole, very good perspective. Figures. They are very good figures. 3 on the left. This guy here, his legs look a little bit too thick at the bottom. Maybe could have narrow, like the other 2, the lady and the younger guy. A little bit of a gap there, I reckon, Betty, between those. Figures in the background there don't have that light around them. So they're sort of dark figures on a darker background. And these 2 here, well, I think that one on the right looks like a lady with a sort of veil or something like that with the light coming through. That's very effective. I'm not sure if that was the effect that you wanted, but that's what it looks like to me. Nice figures there in the background, on the corner. Shadows are good. A little bit heavy-handed here. But on the whole, shadows good, just the right value. And you've got a bit of light here, Betty. I would, for continuity, come down with the building, go darker at the base of the building, go a little bit darker towards the base of the building, and then do the car shadow of that building. Thanks very much, Betty. Right, have we got 2 Bobs? No. Right. Bob L, I think it is. Right. Immediate impact of the darkness. Beautiful. The dark. It's almost like a nice L composition here. You've got that strong darkness on the left, framing that left-hand side, and then coming across the bottom. Nice L, a typical L-shaped composition, I would call that. Perspective is very good, excellent. We've got a little bit of a lean of the street from top left to bottom right. Not sure if that was your intention. Whereas really the street sort of, well, it goes up at the back, but then here it's sort of more kind of, it levels out just a little bit. Figures are really good. You've changed the figures a lot. You've got these 3 on the left, they're coming towards us. And maybe the guy on the right got a walking stick, got a smaller figure there. Maybe that figure Maybe that figure could be just where it is, where the feet are. Maybe the head could be just a little bit higher, tiny bit, unless it was a child. Lots of figures in the background there. Your figures are brilliant, Bob. Very good figures. The colours of the buildings, excellent. You've got the Catalonian flags as well. Nice lines coming across the street. Nice brightness in the top right corner. Great edges with that dry brush mark. Great variety of edges. Hard edges and these softer edges with that dry brush mark, exploiting the roughness of your paper. Very nice, Bob. Thank you. Bronwin. Nice composition. You've actually got a little bit more of the left-hand side in, which doesn't matter. Perspective-wise, very good. Perhaps we could, on the left-hand side, assuming we've got more of that shop on the left, maybe we could have gone a little bit steeper up the top there, Bronwin, but all the other lines, yeah, they are just right. Figures. Those two figures, very good. And the background figure as well. The three on the left, I think the middle guy and the right-hand one, maybe the heads are just a little bit too big. Yeah, just a little bit too big. Other than that, good proportions. Could have gone a tiny bit darker with the values on the left-hand side and down in the alleyway there. Just a little bit, just to emphasize the contrast, just to exploit the difference between light and dark. But those two figures there, they're really good. Thanks, Bronwin. Nice painting. And Kathy. Nice watercolor. I like the transparency of your watercolor, Kathy. Nice composition. Perspective is good. With these lines in the middle, maybe they could just come out at a little bit of an angle like that, so that we're kind of emphasizing that side of the street just a little bit more. But on the whole, perspective good. Figures are excellent. The two on the right, they're nice. Perhaps could have gone a little bit darker with the front of their clothing, just to emphasize the kind of backlighting, the light coming towards us. Now, the figures on the left, they are good. I like the style of them. You've done well with the feet, the legs as well, the feet. Not so sure about the guy's shorts. Perhaps they lack a little bit of, perhaps they could stand out just a tiny bit more. But on the whole, those figures are really nice. Shadows are brilliant. I like your shadows. Very loose, especially these in the middle here, where the paint's granulating a little bit and it's all kind of mixing in with the background. Yeah. Really nice. Good edges as well. Good assortment of edges, hard and soft edges. Well done, Kathy. And Chris. Composition is okay. I like those figures in the middle, although you know what I'm going to say about things right there in the middle. Sometimes it can look better with your dominant objects just a little bit further away from that middle line, that middle area, over on those the rule of thirds sort of thing. We're a little bit empty on the left-hand side. I do like, however, the effect that you've achieved with watercolor, that softness, that kind of wet in wet, and then you've emphasized it with the darker, thicker pigment to bring out the shapes of those windows and doorways on the left. Perspective is very good. Nice. Figures, let's look at the figures. They are brilliant. Yep, just right, the proportion. size of the head, got a bit of movement as well. Just be careful with maybe some of your pencil lines showing through there. I'm guilty of that, by the way. I do that so many times with figures, and the wash around the figures is sometimes quite light, and then the pencil lines show. Those figures are brilliant. Connected. That figure there, yeah, that one's good as well. Looks like a bicycle thing going on there. Two more figures on the left. Nice shadows. You've gone for very soft shadows in this one. I actually quite like it. I still think it's just a little bit bare on that left-hand side, but I do like the softness. It's a nice technique, and this sort of yellow glow in the middle there. We've got the hard edges with the shadows of those figures, hard edges around the two figures there coming up the street. I like these flat dry brush marks there. Looks like there's a bunch of flowers on a grand piano in the doorway there. I quite like that on the right-hand side. Yeah, nice one, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting different styles through all of these. Right, Christie. As always, very precise drawing and execution. Very bright with almost little colour, if anything, on that street. Composition is very nice indeed. Yeah, you've moved your figures a little bit more over to the right, almost in the middle. They're balanced nicely with those two. The attention to detail on the right-hand side, where we can view this restaurant or something there, that's come out very well. Also with the light, we're sort of looking through the corner of the building out to the other side. That's come out really well. Nice colour of the buildings, attention to detail with the balconies and the windows there. I like this kind of softness on the left-hand side, all kind of merging in with each other, and almost like a little bit of hazy, very sort of almost sort of smoky, dusty feeling to the way those figures are merging with the shadows. Not so sure about this dark line here. I know what it is. It's the darker material on the street, but I don't think we need that. I think that could have been just left light. Your figures, though, are brilliant. Maybe the heads could be a little bit larger on the left-hand side, but those two there, these two coming up the street, very nice. Good job with the perspective as well. Thanks, Christie. Right, Colin K. Nice composition. Good perspective. Maybe we're missing a little bit of the left-hand side there. Not sure if you've cropped it, Colin. We've got that little white shot blind coming in from the left. So I know what it is, but maybe someone else not seeing the source photo might be left thinking, what is that? Don't really need it, to be honest with you. Figures are brilliant. Nice colours of these three on the left. Maybe just a little bit too colourful. They kind of stand out there in the shadows. Shadows and the values very good, like the darkness in the alleyway there. The left-hand side could be a little bit darker to maybe just subdue these three figures just a little bit more. Those two figures there, brilliant. Three on the left, putting aside their colour, very good as well. Good shadows, nice edge on the shadows. That's a lovely shadow up there on the right. That's brilliant. One on Colin. And another Colin. So we had Colin K. Colin 1 and Colin 2. Right. Colin number 2. Nice composition. Good perspective with the buildings on the left and the lines in the street. Yeah, it's certainly got the feeling of the gradient. Figures, they're all right. Nice 3 on the left. I think that figure there in the distance, that stands out just a little bit too much. Maybe you could get away with the white if you made the head a little bit darker, or the legs maybe. It looks a little bit sort of ominous there, and the distance stands out just a little bit too much. These two coming up street, they're all right. 3 on the left, excellent as well. Shadows are good. Bit of an untidy line here where we've got the transition from the building coming down with a shadow, so just be careful there. Not so sure about those 2 figures there. Be careful of a shadow on top of a shadow. Try and make them, as I've said before, try and make the shadows all joined together, all kind of one shape, the side of the building and the shadow of the figures. Excellent, thanks Colin. And David D. Well, immediate impact of the warm colour. I bet your picture is a little bit brighter than this. The image I'm looking at looks a little bit dark. A good composition though. Your figures are quite large in the scene. Well, let's just go on. Perspective is all right. In the street, try and make those lines. If you want to push that building back just a little bit more, try and make the lines go a lot narrower in the distance, all right? So something like that. You get the idea. So, figures. Yes, I think the figures on the right are good. Shadows of those figures could be a little bit darker, and maybe they could go, the shadows of those figures could go up just a little bit more like that, just to help with the perspective. Figures on the left, this guy good, the lady all right, but the legs look a little bit awkward. But the guy in the middle, I know he was a chunky guy, but I think maybe the width of the guy, but also these dark lines at the side of the torso, maybe we don't need that. And also you've gone, so maybe you've gone, the painting of the short is just, the paint there is just a little bit too weak, and we can see the shadow coming through. So you did, I guess you did the shadow of the distant building first, and you did the figures after that. So yeah, just be careful of that. But the colour, thinking about the positives here, the colour of that background building, that's on fire. That's a beautiful colour. Well done, David. And right, so we've got David 1, David 2, David J here. Let me just see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Apart from lighting, sometimes we get different resolutions and sizes of attendees' paintings. Very loose, I like it. Nice composition. I think these 2 guys here on the right, they're a little bit too high. They need to be down in this area here, I reckon. It looks like they're too high up. You could probably get away with it by, it almost looks like we're looking uphill rather than downhill. You could probably get away with it by connecting them a little bit more with a shadow, all right? The perspective is very good. The figures generally are excellent. Also, shadows, they're also very nice. It's a nice loose painting, this. I do like the way that you've done the buildings. All of the buildings are very good. The application of nice transparent washes. You've kept the brush marks very loose, very expressive, with the way that you've done the architectural details. Yeah, really good indeed. Well done, David. Thanks very much indeed. And Diana. It is Diana. Yes, Diana. Right. Composition is nice. It's got a nice balance to it with the 3 on the left, the 2 on the right. Perspective is good. I think you might be leaning a little bit too much with that line, these lines here. That's kind of almost the eye line there. That's come up all right. Yeah, maybe just a tiny bit too much there. Right, figures are good. I like those two on the right, perfectly placed. You've got the good size of the figures as well. The figures on the left, they are very good as well. Maybe the guy on the right, maybe the legs just a little bit too dark. Almost like, yeah, I think maybe the legs could be just a little bit lighter there. Shadows are, the values of the shadows, brilliant, nice edges. You've got some nice, confident brush marks there. Just try and join. I would join going back to the right-hand figure there, I would try and connect that shadow just a little bit more. But a lovely painting, well done, and a beautiful colour of the buildings in the background. Well done. And Diane. Nice composition. I quite like the level of detail that you've put into the building in the middle there, in the background. That looks really nice. Yeah, I can tell that you've taken a lot of time with the drawing on this, Diane. So composition come out really well. Perspective is good. Left-hand side, right-hand side. Yes, perhaps the lines on the street could go a little bit narrower in the distance, just a little bit narrower. The figures have come out really well. I think what works on this is the way that you've got the highlights just perfect with these two figures on the right. They're just about coming into the sun. And then obviously these two are in full sun. But that very precise edging of light there works really well. Yeah, nice figures. Maybe this guy, the head looks a little bit, I'm not sure if we've got a little bit of a line here and then that line there. Yeah, so overall it makes the head look a little bit too large, but the others are brilliant. That's a super painting. I love this. Look at this light. Let's zoom into the light. Actually, up on the top right corner, I think was some kind of halogen light or modern light or a CCTV camera, something like that. But that's a more antique lantern there, perfect for the area, and also the texture that you've got on the corner of the building as well, and that light again. Yeah, very nice indeed. We can almost read the writing on the menu also. Thanks, Diane. Super painting. And Dom. Now, I know Dom is very experienced at doing street scenes, plein air street scenes. This is right up his alleyway, right up his street. Perfect. So, Dom, you win the prize with the most figures in your painting so far. We can see composition-wise so many things that Dom has changed. And there's a little bit of a story going on here. With my eyes immediately go to the middle, almost like there's an adult figure and a child figure, and the child figure's maybe pleading with the adult figure, maybe for sweets or chocolates or something like that. There's a bit of a story going on there, but very loose. Perhaps to get a bit more light, Dom, you could have gone a little bit lighter in the street there, but I know it's your style. There's kind of very loose, lots of soft edges, and in some ways, quite a lot of work going into those different washes here. We can see we can sort of sense different layers, different stages or steps of the painting to achieve this effect. Beautiful light on the left-hand side with those three figures. Looks like two adults, child slightly behind one of the adult figures. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Well done, Dom. Super painting from Dom, as usual. Right, Gwen. Let's just zoom into Gwen's a bit more. There we go. Sometimes if I zoom in on a small photo, I can lose a little bit of the definition, but we can see what's going on here. Nice composition. Lovely colour of that building. Perspective is good, but on the left-hand side, maybe we could have got some steeper lines going down a little bit there just to help the eye, and a little bit steeper there, just to help the eye go down on that left-hand side. Right, figures are very nice indeed, especially the two walking up the street. They've come out really well. I really like that right-hand figure with the kind of light or light blue shirt. And then the ones on the left, they're very good also. Head of that middle guy could be a tiny bit larger, but on the whole, they're all really good figures. They're brilliant. Nice connection of the shadows. I like the little bit of scraping here, possibly, of the pavement, just to bring out a little bit of extra texture on that left-hand side. Yeah, excellent. Well done, Gwen. And Jean C. So composition, first of all. So you've changed the building facing us, so we can see the sky and the rooftop, of course. So that's all right. Perspective-wise, it's good. We've got the feeling of going down the street and then that slope down to the right. Maybe you've gone quite dark on that right-hand side. Maybe could have gone a tiny bit lighter at the top there, Jean. Look, good colour of the building, though, facing us and on the right-hand side. Figure-wise, good figures, but the heads are just a little bit too big, especially the guy on the left, I reckon. Shadows are very nice. Good connection from coming down the building, and then the shadow going down the street. And edges as well. So a bit of a softer edge on that one, but a harder edge here on the right-hand side. Yeah, well done, Jean. And yeah, I like the step of the building facing us as well. And quite a sort of Spanish-looking top to it as well, with lots of sort of ornate details. Thanks, Jean. Right, Jean F. So we had Jean C, Jean F. Composition, good. Perspective, yes, perspective is all right. Maybe we could have got a few lines on the street surface there, Jean, just to help the viewer kind of look down the street. Figures are very nice. The two guys on the right-hand side, maybe, just to zoom in on those, maybe if they were just a little bit darker, but also get in a tiny bit of highlighting around the heads and the shoulders, that'll just make them pop and stand out a bit more. That figure there, oh yeah, okay, so that figure maybe going on to that little bit of a terrace, a little bit of a platform on the right. Figures on the left, they are very good as well. Shadows, I quite like your shadows. You've got a bit of texture in those shadows, and you've done well to kind of connect them there as well. The shadow of the building with the shadow of the figures. Yeah, good, very good, and nice edges as well. Well done, thanks, Jean. And Jim. Nice composition, a little bit bare on the left-hand side. Could have filled in that space on the left there, Jim, with some lines or marks just to kind of give the impression of some more windows and doors coming up the left-hand side. Perspective is very good. Figures. Again, the figure in the distance there might be just a little bit too white, but I like the loose feeling of that one. With these two here, maybe give the impression of more arms, possibly some, this guy here, a bit of arms, something like that. Excuse my crude drawing. Yeah, just getting the feeling of arms. You've done it with these guys, these people on the left-hand side there, but that one on the right. There, just getting some arms. The shadows are just the right value, maybe a little bit too light. Just a tiny bit too light here, but you've got I would try and connect the shadows on the buildings as they come down to street level. Just try and connect them a bit more so that you don't have that stark. That's the shady side of the building, and then we've got the shadow at the bottom. We've got that sort of quite harsh line there. So try and merge them together a little bit, Jim, I would say. But nice painting, good edges with the shadows, nice light coming in. Well done. And Joe. Nice composition. Looks a little bit empty at the top there. It looks like you've got the light coming across. Somehow you've got the light coming across that building in the background. Maybe that building might be just a little bit too light. Not sure. But composition-wise, good. Perspective is all right. I would say with this building on the left, try and get in some light. Yeah, I think if we got some more lines in here, these lines coming, those vertical lines coming down, that would just add a little bit more kind of character to that building. Figures are very nice. 2 on the right, the 3 on the left. The lady, the legs look a little bit too short, I reckon. Yeah, to make her legs, she looks like she's standing a little bit closer to us. So I would make her legs a little bit longer with the size of that body as well. Shadows, nice. These shapes here, they're good, but because you put that sort of darker line this side, it almost looks like they're kind of raised up from the surface. I'm not sure if that was what you wanted to achieve. You've gone with the red parasol there. Nice touch, and different bits and pieces going on in the cafe there. Yeah, well done, Joe. Nice painting. And Kazim. Composition good. Perspective is excellent on this, especially at the street level, and the building on the left, very good indeed. Figures are very nice. Yeah, with the two guys coming up, they're just perfect. The way that you've done those legs on those, Kazim, that's come out really well. 3 on the left, very good as well. The lady there, the legs, brilliant. The younger guy on the right, good. Yeah, all those figures are very nice indeed. Shadows are brilliant. Just the right value, bit of a soft edge to them, connected as well. Nice assortment of edges. Yeah, a very nice painting. Well done, Kazim. And Lillian. Very nice indeed. I like that light in the top left corner. A bit like a previous painting, we've always got an L-type composition coming on here with that darkness. Lovely dark on the left-hand side. We can see Lillian's tape here. Of course, when you peel the tape off, you're going to get that nice crisp white edge. So just imagine that, everyone. The background building is beautiful colour. Maybe a bit too light and a bit too sort of red, but I do like a lot of character. Very good figures. Nice and loose. You've got the one, you captured that one on the left, but you've moved it just a little bit more into the right. I think that works. Good figures, good shadows. Yeah, it's got a nice start. I particularly like that area there, those two coming towards us. Yeah, well done. Thanks, Lillian and Liliana. Oh, we need to just put this around the right way. Okay. Liliana. Nice composition. Perspective is good. Could have gone maybe just a tiny bit narrower with those lines in the street on the surface. Figures are very nice indeed, especially the two on the right. These on the left, they're very good also. The middle guy could, because the middle guy's in the sun, maybe he too would have a bit of a shadow here like the right-hand guy. So that could be all shadow in there. Shadows generally are very good. I like them. Nice value, good colour to them. The transition is brilliant, Liliana, from the building there to the shadow at the bottom. Very nice indeed. Good edges as well on the shadows. Yeah, excellent. Lovely colour in the street. Cool, warm. Yeah, very nice. Well done, Liliana and Lynn. First impression, I like these little bits of light. I'm not sure how you achieved these little specks of light, whether it was a bit of splattering or something like that, but you've latched onto something in the source photo, and I quite like that. Nice composition. The perspective is very good. Yeah, nice perspective. We've got certainly the feeling of the gradient going down and then going a little bit steeper to the right and then off. Figures, two figures there, brilliant. The ones on the left, I think there might be just a little bit too much of the white. Maybe that, if that's like a little bag or something like that, Lynn, over the shot, I would just dull that down a bit. It stands out just a tiny bit too much, but the figures are really nice. Shadow-wise, yeah, very expressive shadows, like all this on the left-hand side, all the kind of textures that you've got on that left-hand side going across the street as well. Yeah, but I do like everything that's going on here on the right-hand side and that rather ornate parasol there. But these little sparkles, they're brilliant. It's a nice touch. Thanks, Lynn. Right, Margaret. Nice composition. Perspective is good. You've kind of limited the number of lines on the street surface. That's all right. You're almost beating Dom with the number of figures in the scene. So we've got two on the terrace. We've got two there. Yeah, you must be in position number 2 or 3, Margaret, I reckon, with number of figures. I do like the way you've done that distant building, all the colours in there, soft edges, just the feeling of the balconies. Going back to the figures, they are brilliant, especially these two here with, you sort of saw in the source photo, the guy, he had his hands clasped together, but yours looks like he's on a mobile device or something like that, walking up the street, very effective. The ones on the left, also excellent. Really good figures, legs are brilliant as well. Shadows, just the right value. Just be careful not to overwork it too much, but the shadows are brilliant and nice edges to those shadows as well. Those shadows, they're really nice, Margaret. Well, that whole area there, those two figures in the shadows. Yep, thanks, Margaret. Mark. Composition good. Perspective is very nice indeed. The figures, let's just zoom to the figures. The figures are very nice indeed. I particularly like the two on the right. Maybe the left-hand one a little bit too static. Is it perhaps the right hand, as we're looking at his right hand, from our side, that right hand leg could be a little bit further forwards possibly. Figures on the left, very good. Just be careful of the overworking of the stripes. I know there were stripes in the source photo, like the shadow there over the middle guy. The shadows are very nice indeed. I wouldn't use that white paint up there. I know you might have spotted maybe something, a canopy or something going on up there, but yeah, just be careful of too much of the white paint, particularly within the shadows. It doesn't need it, to be honest with you. The colour that you've got there is good enough of that background building. Brilliant edges though. Look at that edge there. So hard edge over the corner where the shadows are starting, but then as we come out, yeah, beautiful soft edge there. What on Mark? And Maxine, I like the effect of the different layers that you put on here. So I'll come on to that in a minute. Nice composition. Perspective is good. Just try and go a little bit narrower with some of those lines in the street. Just a little bit, but on the whole, perspective is very nice. Figures are good. You've got the red figure in the middle. He's lost a little bit of weight. He looks a little bit more athletic now in this one. Figures are very good. Like them. And the light, without resorting to any white paint, you've managed to very carefully achieve the light glowing around those two figures walking up the street. The shadows are just the right value, nice and loose. Maybe here, the shadows of, well, that middle guy, I think that we don't need this kind of shape here, Maxine. So just try, I wouldn't have bothered with that shadow, almost like a shadow in the shadow. Yeah, so the right-hand one though, yeah, that is just right. Those figures are brilliant. Those three. Yeah, those three especially. Nice one, Maxine, and the detail of the cafe on the right-hand side. But I particularly like the effect of your watercolor technique with the washes and the darker values that you put into there. Naomi, again in a similar way, I like the transparency of that background building. My eyes immediately went to this area here where we've got light, middle value, darker value, nice brush marks. Touch the paper once, then not mucked about with it. Good composition. We've got the nice feeling of the height of the buildings as well. Maybe are the dimensions of your paper different to many others? Not sure. Anyway, or maybe your figures are a little bit lower. But yeah, nice composition. Beautiful granulation on that building in the alleyway there in the distance. The perspective is very good. Figures are nice. Maybe that figure there just a little bit stands out just a little bit too much. I think maybe if mine was quite bright, maybe I led people astray there. But I would say, again, as I pointed out with others, try and put in a different colour top or bottom to that. But the rest of the figures are, yeah, they're really good. These two coming up the street, again, nice and loose. Similar style to the way you've done the building, Nice consistent style. Maybe a little bit too heavy with the, maybe a little bit too thickish with these guys, the middle guys' shorts there. But the other two, very good. Shadows, nice. Now that's a good way of doing the shadow within a shadow. It doesn't stand out so much. Maybe this edge here could be just a little bit softer, like you've got there. So I presume you put down this shadow first and then the shadow afterwards with the shadow of the figures. But yeah, just try and get a soft edge there if you can. Nice connection there. Yeah, good edges as well. Yeah, but I like putting the figures aside. I like that. That's brilliant. Thanks very much, Naomi and Nino. Nino's familiar style. Nice composition. The perspective is all right. It's good. On the left-hand side, we could go down a little bit steeper up the top there, Nino. So that's pretty much our eye line there. So yeah, we're starting to go downhill just a little bit there, all right? Figures are good. Figures on the right-hand side. These two on the left, they're okay. Maybe their legs could be just a little bit longer. Now, with the shadows, you've gone a little bit too dark with that shadow there. Or you could have got away with it if the shadow was merged more with the colour of the building. And or making this area lighter here. We've got a lot of sort of middle values going on. Just be careful of putting too much into this area here as well with those lines and dry brush marks. Doesn't need it, to be honest with you. You'd have achieved a fresher look by not putting so much into it. These shadows here, again, just, yeah, shadows of the building, shadow of the figure, just a little bit too dark, a little bit too black. Inject them with a bit of colour. But I like the lively style of it. Well done, Nino. Thank you. And Richard. A nice bright scene without the background building being so dark. Good composition, although the two figures... Now, the two figures on the left, I was going to say the two figures on the left, they're quite dominant, but we're kind of balancing everything up by having those two in the middle coming up the street, and then those two signs in the entrance to the restaurant. Well, it looks like a pub, P-U. Looks like a pub has materialized on the right. Those background buildings are stunning. They are really well done. Let's zoom into those. The framing around the building, around the windows, the different colors that you've got in there, the turquoise and the dots of red and the yellow, pencil marks showing. I'm not so sure about whether you've used a pen or a gel pen or something like that with these lighter lines. I don't think we need it where you've got that kind of stripy feeling on that one, on these two figures here. Don't think we need it. And then across the shoulders there. Yeah, I don't think we need it. The guy here, perhaps his waist is a little bit too low. His waist would be more, I think it would look better around about there. Shorts. Okay. But lovely bright scene. You'd almost need your sunglasses. You've achieved the brightness here without going too dark on that background building. Beautiful shadows, nice edges. They're lovely shadows. Yeah, well done, Richard. And Rosie. Nice composition. Maybe the figures overall are a little bit too small. Could be a bit larger in the overall scene. Perspective is good. Again, like a few others, just Just be careful with the lines on the street going a little bit narrower into the distance. The figures are nice, especially those three on the left. They're very good indeed. The ones on the right, I think their legs could be maybe a little bit thinner, and try and get in the feeling of, well, as we zoom in, we can sort of see their arms, but maybe those dabs of white there, the white highlights are just a little bit too large. Perhaps they could be just a little bit smaller in size. But the figures are just right within the landscape, within the street scene. They're just the right size. Perspective. Yep, so perspectives just try and get a little bit narrow with those lines. Nice shadows, got a good, for continuity, nice merging of the shadow, the shady side of the building to the shadow of the bottom, and then the shade on the left-hand side. Just be careful, don't go too grey. Keep injecting colours into your shadows. Also try and connect the figure's shadow with the building shadow as well. Nice soft edge there, though. Yeah, well done, Rosie. Sandra, right, I think this is another one where the photo, I bet the photo will be a lot lighter than we see here. I would edit it, but I'll not bore you with that. But let's imagine it's a little bit lighter. Nice composition. You've gone a little bit wider with the dimensions of your scene. We've got two figures on the right. You might be equal number 2 for number of figures in the scene. Really good composition then with the balance. Perspective is good. We don't have any lines in the street. I'm not sure if that was your intention, but some lines just to help us lead down into the scene. Figures are brilliant. These two here walking up, two lurking in the shadows, that one there, and then your 3 on the left. And always a good idea with street scenes, give people bags, rucksacks, backpacks, but certainly bags, always really useful. And also when people are carrying a heavy bag, they might be leaning to the left, leaning to the right. The pose that you've got on those 3 figures is very good. Shadow-wise, nice. Could be lighter in the streets here, just to bring out the shadows a bit more, and maybe a bit of shadow at the base of that building as well. So we've got the shady side of the building coming down, and then we come to the bottom, and a bit more of a shadow there. But it's a really nice painting. I love it, Sandra. Nice grouping of figures. And Sarah, composition, very nice indeed. Great feeling of light coming in. Perspective, very good. Figures, these 2 guys coming up the street, they are brilliant. Yeah, just be careful with maybe going a little bit too transparent on the legs there. I guess again you put the shadow of the background building down first, and then yeah, just go a little bit thicker, I reckon, with the trousers there, just so they don't appear too transparent. But those figures there, they're so good, especially that left-hand one. The ones on the left, they're very good as well. The shadows, that is a really good connection of the shadow, the figure with the building shadow, and the colours that you've got into that shade as well. Warms and cools, bit of granulation going on. Very nice to good edges also. Well done, Sarah. And Susan J. Nice composition. I like the softness up in that top left corner, whether you've lifted out possibly. I can't remember now. I might have done a little bit of lifting in the top left corner with a damp sponge just to sort of soften the edges up there on the left. The perspective is very good. Excellent. Not sure if we need that balcony on the left. Figures are really nice. I like this guy coming down, I assume it's the guy, hands in his pockets, striding down the steps there from there's a platform, just tucked around the corner of the platform. But that figure there, really nice. These two, excellent. The three on the left, very good as well. Shadows, excellent shadows. Good shape to them. Good edges as well. Very nice painting. Thanks, Susan and Sylvia. Nice composition. I like the way that your left-hand figure there has gone really dark and it almost sort of sinks into the shadows. The perspective is good, but the lines on the street, maybe there's a bit too many of them. I know you've tried to, you two have spotted the different materials on the street with dark sort of grey squares and then the lighter paving, but I would just try and simplify it. It would actually give us a bit more impact and not so much detail there on the street. The figures are very good. Not sure if these two could be a little bit smaller, possibly. Although they're almost in line with these three on the left. Well, I guess they're about right. No, they're probably about right. The figures are very good indeed. Yeah, the legs of the people, the figures in shorts. Nice bit of light around that right-hand figure. Attention to detail. The building in the background is very well drawn, and you've got in some of the graffiti or flags or the banners. They're up there on people's balconies. We're not sure what they said. Oh, you've got those three lights in there. I'm pretty sure a few other people did as well, but they stand out quite well. And then those sort of flags again, the Catalonian flag, three of those up there. Yeah, very nice. Good feeling of light coming into the scene. Thank you, Sylvia and Victor. Composition, very nice. We've got, so perspective, let's think about perspective. Perspective is good. Figures are good as well. They're all very nice figures. You made the middle, you changed the figures on the left. So we've got, looks like two female figures and a male figure. I like the way you've done that background building with the light around the windows. That's very effective. Perhaps we could have got the feeling of darkness on that background building there. The value of the building, you've got it as similar to the sky. So if you've got a bit darker or a bit lighter with the sky, a bit darker with the building, you would have got, obviously, you'd have got a bit more impact there. But I do like that background building, Victor. That's come out really well. Shadows are very nice, just the right value. They're interesting. They've got lots of colours within them. A little bit overworked down here at the street level. But it's a lovely painting. Well done, Victor. And Vicente. Nice composition. Perspective, just watch your line, Vicente. Try and get narrower in the distance. I wouldn't, these dark lines here within the shadows, I wouldn't bother with those. That dark line there, marking out the edge of the shadow, doesn't need it. Figures are very nice. The two on the right are good. Shadows, just a little bit messy with the shadows. And also maybe they would be going over a little bit more to the right with the perspective. The three on the left they're good, but just a little bit too much. Yeah, I think it's too much use of the white paint, and the white paint is a little bit too thick, or maybe you've gone in with the white paint, but the surface wasn't dry, first of all. So you've got a little bit of mixing, like here, we got the white mixed in with the blue of the top of that figure. So we've got that kind of, we lose that freshness in a way. So just watch out. Wait till everything's dry and just try and get the right consistency of white paint to water. But thanks very much, Vicente. So that's the last one. Thanks very much, everyone, if you've stuck it through to the end. I hope you enjoyed looking at everyone's interpretation of the sunny Tarragona street scene with a focus on figures in a street scene. Thanks very much to everyone that attended or watched the replay, attended live or watched the replay, and look forward to seeing you on the next workshop. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.